Hi, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to do this Filled Boxes Bracelet. You can use a lot of different materials for the center line and have fun with the crystals and beads on the side. Gather up your materials, and if you're a kit subscriber, this is in your box this month. Let's get ready and get started. So while this can be done with one needle and right angle weave, we're actually going to be two needling it. It makes it easy for people that have never beaded before to kind of see what they're doing. I have two size 10 or 11 needles on some size 6 white dragon thread. I've put on my needle and thread 11, 8, 11. Now I have a needle on both sides of 5 feet of thread. And after putting those 3 beads on, I'm going to pick up my cup button, which I find is really easy to get on and off, so it's nice for a bracelet. And I'm putting one needle through one side and one needle through the other side. I'm gonna make sure that I have an equal amount of thread here along the sides. And then when coming out, I'm going to form a V, picking up 2 of my 11-Os with both my right and my left needle. And then I'm gonna take one of my 8 OC beads, and I'm gonna take both needles through in the same direction. So we're going through the same direction, getting in and creating that V. This little V is where the loop on the other end of the button is going to sit nicely and hang out. Now we are going to separate out the needles, and we are going to do some right angle weave, but again, we're doing it with 2 different needles. We're going to begin by adding 1 11, 1 8, 1 11 on the right side, 1 11, 1 8, 1 11 on the left side. We're going to let that fall down next to our V, and we have those 2 seed beads coming out either side. From here, we're going to start our right angle weave. Our base of our right angle weave is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 of our 11-Os. We're currently on the right needle. I'm going to take my needle through here and go from the right over to the left, crisscrossing my needles through those beads. That is going to be the bottom of my first box. The sides of the box, we're going to do an 8-O times 3 on both the left and on the right. Drop that down next to our 4 11-O seed beads. And now we're going to do 4 11-Os with my right needle, dropping them down off the needle, and then I'm going to take my left needle and crisscross through those as well. That's going to form my first little box, or my first little right angle unit. Now it's going to be slightly off because of the size, but we're getting ready to put an 8mm pearl in that filled boxes, and that will sit kind of nicely nestled in there. You're going to continue up the sides doing 3 of your 8s, followed by, and I'm showing you this little shortcut, 4 of your 11s on the opposite needle. I'm faster with my right hand. So I drop that one, I grab 3 of my 8s, and then while I still have in that hand, I'm going to crisscross through my 4 11s, and that forms box number 2. Keep going the whole length of the design, going and building your boxes, and then we'll do our loop, and then we'll start having fun filling them. Treat yourself this holiday season and get a free jewelry making kit to give to a friend. With the December kit subscription, you'll get 3 new kits for only $59.99, including free shipping. Plus, we're giving you up to $60 credit toward any jewelry making kit. Subscribe today and receive the Filled Boxes Bracelet, the holiday glitter earrings, and this sparkling keepsake ornament to hang on your tree. All delivered free to your door. Each kit includes premium beads, wire clasps, and full step-by-step instructions. You can cancel anytime, so there's no risk, only inspiration. Subscribe now and give the gift of jewelry making to someone you love. So once you're done building your boxes here, you're going to make a loop for the other side. So the nice thing is you're coming out of your last set of 4, you're going to do 11, 8, 11, just like we did the other side, and then you're taking both needles through the 8-O seed bead. Now, for the next step, I'm going to use to just kind of clean up my mat. You're going to want about 24 to 28 of your 11-O seed beads. Depending on that, if you want to use some silver or even delicas, that's up to you. I tend to not put crystals on my loop or near my clasp because they are more fragile than the seed beads, just because, you know, they're a bigger piece of glass. And dump out a couple more of these. add some more of them in. Once you have your grouping on, you're going to make sure that it fits through your button if you're using the cup button. If you're using something else, again, you can use a wire guard here. You're just going to make sure that it fits. How you want it to fit is when you do that loop together, you want the cup button to fit in there but not have too much space. So I've got a couple too many on here. I'm going to take some off. And then what I'm going to do is take my needle and thread back down through that same 8/0 and over to the opposite side down that level there. Same thing on this side, going in to all those seed beads. So you're reinforcing this whole loop, because whenever you have a necklace, bracelet, earrings, anything like that, wherever you put on and off the piece is where you're going to have the most tension occur, because you're bending it back, you're getting it looped up. So this, you always want to make sure that there's more than one thread through the clasp area. Same goes for the button. We'll reinforce that as we get down to the other side. You want to also make sure that you don't have any thread showing and that you didn't miss any beads. So as you bring the beads and the thread down the opposite side, we're going to do nice tight pulls with both of them, making sure that we don't have any extra thread showing, making sure that it's big enough for our button to go through and that it can get through comfortably but not too big. And then we'll set up to come down and decorate the middle. And then on the last one, we will decorate the sides. Once you're done making your loop here, we are going to bring our needle and thread crisscrossing so that we're exiting through the middle 2 seed beads. Remember that group of 4? I took my needle halfway through beads 1, 2, and 3 and exited, and then on the other side went through 1, 2, and 3 and exited. So our needles are basically coming out between the 2 middle seed beads. Here's where we're going to pick up a pearl with, it doesn't matter either side, right or left. I'm going to go to the next grouping of 4 seed beads. I'm going into the same side that my thread and needle is currently coming out of. So I'm currently on the one on the left. I'm going to go into the left through those 2 beads in the middle, 1 and 2, and out. Then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Go through the pearl, same side that I'm on. Don't move around your project. Same side that I'm on, and you already know there's another thread there. You're going to go through beads 1 and 2, crisscrossing. Pull that nice and tight. The thread will kind of just dip down in there, and then you continue on. So we're not adding anything other than the pearls. You're literally just adding the pearls. So you're going to pick up your next pearl through the needle, go over to the opposite side, pick up beads 1 or 2 and 3, and go through those 2 beads there in the middle, and out before the third one there. That's going to stay on the side of your box. And then once again, pick up the other side, do the exact same thing. Through the pearl, go to those 2 middle seed beads, and you're crisscrossing through them. Give a nice tight pull. That pulls the pearl into the middle, hiding that thread, and pushes our seed beads out to the side. You're going to continue down the whole way, adding in those 6mm pearls. Once you're done adding in your pearls, I always like to kind of push them down so that way those seed beads along the side do pop out. And I'm here at the end, and I'm going to use this opportunity to reinforce my clasp before coming back down. We're going to go, as you see here, I'm through those 2 seed beads. I'm going to take each side. I already did on one side, but on this side here, I'm going to show you that I'm taking it through then bead number 4 as well. Off to the side. We're going to go up into the clasp through the seed beads, leading up to the button, into the button, wiggling it through there. As you come up through the button, it's always nice when you go through a seed bead first because it can get a little bit hard with them being on an angle to do so. I'm going to go through that middle one, down the opposite side, and that gets 2 strands through the piece. I'm going to take the opposite side down, or the opposite thread rather, through that same process, bringing my thread and needle then down to the sides on either end here. And then we'll get ready once we're down there to decorate our sides with our delicas and our crystals, making those boxes just have a little bit of flair on the sides like there is a bow popping out ready to explore. Once you're done coming down, you can see that start to the decoration of the side. I'm coming out of the last seed beads over here, and you can see as we did over there, I'm going to add one 11-0 just to fill that gap. And I'm coming out through my middle 8-0 seed bead. I'm always going to catch into the middle 8-0 that sits on the sides of the boxes of those pearls. From here, your pattern is going to be delica, 8-0, delica, 8-0, crystal, 8-0, delica, 8-0, delica. It's going to be the same thing on both sides. You're going to skip over the next 8-0 and go into the following. So it's going to be every other pearl this time down. Pull that nice and tight, and that just kind of hangs out along the side there. Same thing again then. You're doing delica, 8-0, delica, 8-0, crystal, and then you're on repeat. 8-0, delica, 8-0, delica. I say 8-0, it's 11, sorry. Skip over the next 8 and go to the following. And see how those seed beads are just really pretty, laying right along the side there. We're going to go the whole way down. Now, if you start running out of thread, because I always use a little bit less than I say when I'm doing the video so I don't have as much to pull through. When you start running out of thread, what I want you to do is get both of your thread and needles to the same side of one of your 11-0 rings here, tie it off, and then you just start with a new piece, sewing right through the next row of your 11-0s and bringing out on each side. Go ahead and decorate with these seed beads going down the sides. Once you get to the end of the design and you have all your sides on there, there's two things that you can do. I thought about it and it ended up just looking a little bit too crowded, but you might like the look of it if you pop in some 15s. Going back and going to the unused 8-0s and connecting to those in a loop section. I like the simplicity of this look, but challenge you to do that if you want. On the sides then, coming out here at the end, we were going to mimic the other side. We're picking up an 11-0, staying on the same side that we're currently in. And I'm gonna go right up to the top here, put that bead in there. One of the strands, not both of them, I'll go through and I will reinforce this loop by going through all of these seed beads one more time. I don't need 4 strands through my clasp, and we already have 2. That's why I said just one of the strands here. And as we take this the whole way around then, what we're gonna do is bring it down to the base or the bottom. And we're going to tie off our thread ends. So I'm going through all of these, making sure I'm not missing any seed beads. I'm going through here, coming on out there, going back through again. And sometimes as these get tight with more strands going through, just kind of have to turn it a little bit. Now here I'm going to bring my needle and thread out right actually after the silver bead. Now I'm bringing this out after the silver bead, my needle, because that's where I'm going to tie my thread ends together. Next to a silver bead, when you have white thread, is always a good idea because then you can't see it. I'm adding an 11-0, coming out the 8s on the side there to finish it off. And then you'll notice, if I didn't loop through my thread here, let me unloop that, that your needle and thread are coming out in the exact same location, exact same place, right before that silver bead, and it finishes off beautifully. I'm going to take these 2 thread ends and I'm going to tie them together, right over left, left over right, going ahead and making sure that it's nice and tightly done. Taking a thread burner then and threading or burning off the extra thread. If you want to, you can take one of your needles and weave back through so it's not in the same exact place, but that finishes up this beautiful Filled Boxes bracelet. Thanks so much for joining me in creating the Filled Boxes bracelet. It's super fun to see this used and knowing that you can use a lot of different materials along the sides and in the middle. Remember, if you do want to check out how to subscribe, you can go into below this video into the description and get links there, either to get the individual materials or to subscribe so you get the best Bead Box Kit Edition coming to you each month with 3 kits in it. As always, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that little subscribe button and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.